Well, we're going to see how this works and kind of figure out if this streaming stuff works. So I'll do this more often if it works out, or I'll figure it out. So what I'm kind of working on today is taking a flyer that was made, just some kind of bare bones of it, a couple of them. I'll show you. They're here. And kind of making them fit into our design kind of brand that we've done. So I'm going to start by just pulling open a frame. This frame I'm probably just going to make for now just an A5, which is a normal piece of paper. And then I'll hit K for scaling, and I'll scale this down to 0.25, so that's 1/4 of a piece of paper size. We can do this later, like make them tile later so we can fit it onto one piece of paper and cut these apart, because I think that's how they're gonna be handled or handed out. And so I'll look at these first, and I'll start pulling in some of the main elements. So for mutual first, again, I'm working in Figma, and I have this file kind of set up to work with our design system and assets. I guess I'll just double check and make sure it is. So I don't need those actually. So I'll scroll down and I'll make sure that, where is it? Mutual Design System 3, that's the one I'm currently working on that has all the newer stuff. So I'll add it to the file. What that does is it lets me get actual colors. So if I'm going through the colors here and I grab the colors, we can actually see like I have the brand colors, and I can pull from other assets and other elements that I need. In this case, let me pull this back to that. I can push Shift I, which opens up the components. It's also just this button here. And I can look at components. These are all the components that I can pull from that are recent or not. And I can open up Mutual Design System 3, brand, logo, and I'm going to grab logos, and I can pull out a logo. This one's really big. There are two ways to scale things down. So what I'm going to do is, if you just scale it down like this usually works for certain things, but it doesn't scale down like maybe a rounded corner. It doesn't scale down text very well. So you need to use, maybe you push K for the actual scale tool, and that will keep everything consistently scaled down with each other. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You just know that there's two different ways of doing it. Now this logo, I don't want this particular one. I want the one that has the text on it. So I'm going to select it and go over here on the logo, and I have some options here that are part of this component. I'm going to change it to logo horizontal, and that is what I need. If I want a different one like a black or a white, you can kind of see it. I'll just keep color. You can also turn on the tagline if I want. I'm just going to keep it off. So with this, I'm going to scale it down a bit, and just to show you how I can do this and center this, it's kind of off to the side. I'm just going to move it and center it. Hold Alt and see, okay, it's kind of scaled well, but I'm going to make this page a little bit more standardized. So 150, wait, this is only 150 pixels. That is tiny. I'm going to just see if I pull this in and I start typing and I use our actual text stuff. I want to use the heading. That's pretty huge. So I'll just make this go back to the paper size for now, because that'll give me a better sense of what the actual scale is, and then we can scale it down from there. This is way too small now. I'm going to scale it back up. Center it, and I'll just start by just laying stuff out. I'm not going to be too picky about where stuff is for now, except maybe numbers. And the main content that we need on here is we are hiring, join our team, event marketing, intern, kind of all the stuff we're doing, including the QR code. So this, I'll just put, we are hiring. First block, change this to H2, do join our team. I'm just getting the main stuff here. Let's do an H. I'll keep this at H2. This one can switch to H3 because it has caps. So we'll just use that. Event, marketing intern. Oh, and I have a request from someone to get some stuff. So let me respond to him real quick. 20. marketing intern, and bullet point 20 an hour, 10 to 20 hours a month, hybrid. Sweet. And come plan B. In Provo. I'll just keep the apply now. And we'll see what I can do with this later. I might move it off for now. And that too. So to make this kind of fit a little bit closer to our goal. Again, this is going to be pretty small. When you hold this, this whole thing is going to be about 4 inches wide. Is that about 3 inches wide-ish? 2, something like that. So this logo could probably be a bit bigger. Make it bigger. And then the rest of this stuff should fit pretty well. So with this, I'm going to go into I made a graphic sheet that we've been using for some of these elements. And I might grab a paper and one of these and maybe a circle, stuff like that. Bring it back, paste, whoa, they're huge. I'll just put these in here for now. So this one is the paper background. I'm just gonna drag it onto here, put it around, and then control open bracket, or just open bracket, and it throws it in the back. Don't know if I'm gonna keep it there, but I'm just gonna start with it, make it a little bit easy. Might not even use it. If these are printed, then adding in this type of texture might kind of suck actually, so maybe I'll just remove that for now. But the first part, I'll drag this on and shrink it down and throw it to the back. Oh, wrong one. Okay, why are you not going to the back? There we go. Mutual. See, this doesn't work super well. It's kind of clashy. Also, the logo got stretched. Reset. There we go. So I might change this one to white. Mutual. Yeah, but then that kind of gets rid of a bit of our new brand equity that we're trying to do, which is the new updated colors. So I'll keep it in color, and I'll see about maybe knocking this down to like 30% if that does something fun. Mutual, nice. The other thing I'm doing is I'm giving it some space around it so that it kind of visually kind of can breathe. It's like this is the start, and then scrolling down you can kind of see the more information. We have a lot of space to fit not really a lot of content, so it's like not going to be too bad. I'll put we are hiring. I don't know if we need to join our team and we are hiring. Maybe I'll just pull that off for now. So when you're designing something like this, I think for me the first point is I'm going to get mutual, our branding stuff at top. And second is what are we actually promoting, which is we're hiring. Then second is event marketing intern. This is the information about it, but I don't know if that's really, no, like 3, how about that one? The information about it. So let me go check and see if there's a different one. Was there more content on a different slide? Nope, nope. That is it. Event marketing intern. Okay. We're hiring. I'll pull these up. Let me grab the screenshot of this. Oh, it's interesting. It's kind of blurry. So I have a better one. Let me see if this will be better. I'm screenshotting off my other screen. All right. Yeah, it's pretty blurry. So I'll work with this for now, and I'll just replace that later in a minute. I think something we've been doing a lot with these is Polaroid photos. So I'm gonna go grab one actually. I made a set recently in some of the things I've been working on. I'll pull it in here. I have some photos here. Oh, it's not scaled right. So I'll pull that. Is this oh, this is the master component, so I'll pull right there. Let me see what else. Apply now. Maybe we can get that going. Get some arrows pointing to it. How about, what's a good one that'll fit that? It doesn't look dumb. Maybe this one? I don't know if I like that one. That one's almost the same. Kind of big, kind of ugly. Let's see. Apply now. I don't even know if these type of arrows are 100% necessary. Apply now. Oops. It's like, apply now. Go do it. I'm telling you what to do. Cut this in a little and crop it a bit better. So I'm holding control to crop this images in. If you hold control, like if I don't hold control, it will scale it. If I hold control, it'll scale the frame around it a bit. I'll just do that. I'm going to pull over some lines real quick. So this line I want to be right at 50. And I can kind of align stuff to this a bit. All these things are already aligned to it. So we're hiring. I'll throw something like this over here. Let's see, is this better? Apply now. Does this make sense to... I don't know if I really like that. Let's see. Mutual. Put in a color bar here and grab from our brand. Not that color though. We are hiring. So this one says event marketing internship. Maybe I'll cut this down from heading 1 to heading 2 and this one up to heading 1. We are hiring. Here's the thing. What this is doing now is it's not quite telling you what it's doing. It's like, come plan the coolest events at Provo. Get you rid of you for a minute. So I don't know if this necessarily works any better, because this is like event marketing intern. We should probably have something explaining what that is a bit better. So keep that there and move this stuff off. That's a secondary thing. So let's pull this. This here is my H4. Let's pull an H4 too. Okay, sweet. Come plan the coolest events in Provo. Maybe mutual or singles. Dating. Come plan the coolest dating events in Provo. It's kind of working. Might still be a little smaller, still some extra space here that maybe I can deal with. That is just not scaling, it's just pulling it down. So let me actually scale it. Fill, fit. Oh, that's not working. Crop. I can grab this image and kind of shrink it a bit. I might make this, I'm trying to make this more flat across the board. Give it a little bit less space. Hiring. Mutual. Kind of actually like that a little bit darker. So I think that still works. This is starting to get muddy up here. This red on the light blue is really hard to see, so what happens if we just flip this then? I think I like that better actually. Let's grab this, make it actual blue. We're hiring, change these all to white. I don't think that really helps too much. So let's try this then. Scale this down to just wide enough that it looks right. Grab the rest of these. Take this back to that. And let's just say we are hiring. Heading 1. I think I still like that at 3 with that more. I'm going to break the textiles and just make this a little bigger. Whoa there. We're hiring. If I shrink this anymore, is it going to give me heartburn? Yeah, it's starting to look awful. We are hiring. fun part where I'm streaming something and I'm hitting pretty normal design block type thing. So I need to go back and think about what is this actually going to look like. Probably almost all these things need to be a bit bigger because of the size of this card. So I'm actually just going to open this up on my phone because it is a more approximate size of what it is. Mirror it. My phone is pretty big, but it will be slightly off. But it will be close enough that I can get a sense for if this stuff is too big or too small. Okay, sweet. That is looking a little small. So I'll grab this and make that a bit bigger. And this a bit bigger. No, we are hiring. That's too big now. Neutral. We are hiring. What if I did this though? If I put this up to the top and move this down. That actually looks better. Neutral. We're hiring. I see we're doing a blue bar thing. What if we do that then? And we keep this in like a nice, that really doesn't match the brand. I mean, it is the brand color, but it clashes pretty hard. And hiring, still too big. Center line, grab that. What if I pull this in a bit and around it? We are hiring, and go down a bit. Mutual. If I pull that and start to do something like this. Okay. Liking where that's going a bit more. So that's a bit, if I flip that and then rotate it. So what I'm trying to do is give the logo some space. So I'm looking at this white space that is here in this kind of torn paper thing and going, look, that kind of fits in there, but then still giving it some space so that it can kind of fit in just like that and be nice and big while still being aligned pretty well and having some nice space. Something with this is when I always zoom out and I look at it really small. In this case, I'm looking at it on my phone and just making sure that nothing is too close. Let me set this back up to be H3 and just see how different it is. Yeah, man, maybe I'll just... We are hiring. Yeah, it's going to be a dumb one. So in this case, I'm going to go look up a flyer design on Google. So now hiring flyer design images. I'll pull this over and show you a bit of what I'm doing. Looking at we are hiring, that's the bigger part. So they're saying we are hiring. That's probably even bigger than the logo. So it's interesting to kind of figure out. Yeah, all of these say we are hiring, and that's the biggest thing on here, which to credit made that here. So let's look at some of these. Things that stick out first is we're hiring, and then the positions is the secondary thing. And the logo and the brand or the company aren't even quite there yet. So, but they all pull from it. Cool. Well, I learned some stuff from this. So let's see what we can do to pull some of this stuff in. Makes this, let me shrink this down a bit. Mutual. And I'll make this big again. We are hiring. Let me pull this and break these. So Goldman Sands, it's our font we're using. I'll try a bold. I think that looks okay. Is we are hiring the right thing to say though? Or is it now hiring? Should that be mutual? Or we can make this look like a sticker. Let's try that. So that fill, get it a bit bigger. Some rounded corners. Grab. I don't have any effects saved, so grab some shadow behind it and blur it a bit. Probably don't need that much space above the top and on the sides. And a little less. Sweet. Let's grab this and make it more on that side. trying to, again, align it up on this side. Probably need to move this in a bit just because of the size of this. And I'll scale this a little bit bigger. Or smaller. Let's go smaller. We're hiring. Can also try, if this is too hot, I can just invert it and try switching it to a red stroke and have this be white and have the text be red. And no, I don't like that anymore. You're hiring. Make this an H3. Nope, H2. Event marketing intern. Come plan the coolest dating events in Provo. Looking okay. I might want that one's pretty big. I'll pull this in. So this is the information that I want. This hybrid. Then I'll throw this in here. It's like, there we go. I'm trying to get that right. Apply now. Let's try making this red. Don't like that blue. Don't know why I had it there in the first place. Okay, still looking, now it's looking empty, so let's see what else we can add into here. I think this is a good enough layout. Maybe I'll add some more space under here. And get rid of that for now. We're hiring. Go back to this and grab another paper texture and throw that in the back at the bottom. So previewing this again. Okay, let's pull this top one down a bit. Since it's kind of being stickered now, we can kind of go down a bit further. And I'll give it some more space. Especially underneath it. There we go. Mutual. We are hiring. Group those. I do like the layering that's going on here, but I don't know if I like that logo on it, and it gets muddy here. So let's see if we can try some more of this layering. And I'll take this image and I'll change the exposure on it a bit and flip horizontal. I'm trying to get a different cut of the paper. This one's pretty interesting because it's like very, very jaggedy. So let's see if I can pull this in a bit more and just move it down. Okay, this can probably be bigger. Mutual, we are hiring. I'm thinking this text is a bit small still, so let's grab it. Each one. Event marketing intern. Come plan the coolest dating events in Provo. This is an H. Let's pull it down. Make that white and this white. This, I'll throw a stroke on it. That could work. Let me make it a little bit different. Nah. I don't like those colors at all. So let's make it kind of fit a bit better. Or just straight black, but not as big. Have it on the outside. There we go. In that case, I can't really round it very well. big does this need to be? Okay, this is a good size for it to be scanned. Just make sure that this can be read. So switch it to black. Nope, not really readable. Pull this up to a medium. How about a bold? Apply now. Probably should be quite a bit louder as far as design goes. Don't like that. I like the size being bigger. Get some more spacing in there, because this is kind of where you're going to be looking. I'm walking back this decision a bit. We are hiring, and you're going to be pink and bigger. We are hiring, and not so far apart. We are hiring. Actually, we do this quite a bit. We're hiring. We do that in most of our tech stuff. Yeah. Don't know if I like the red still. It fits. Blue definitely doesn't fit. Orange is off brand. It's on brand, but not for something like this. We're hiring event marketing intern. Line all these on the side. There we go. 60. I think that works. Let's grab these and move them down a bit. Right to the edge of the screen. Apply now. 16, 18. What the heck? Why is this weird? Two. There you are. Why are they all not lined up? They're all not lined up. Okay. I like to keep these numbers like 12, 16, maybe 20. So I'll pull that in. I think this is still good. Looking at it, it's about 1 inch by 1 inch on the size it's going to be, maybe a little bit bigger. That's probably about right, but I'll make it bigger since this is pretty much the thing we want them to do here. So I'll pull that and just kind of put these two a bit more together. And now figure out whether or not this drop shadow is the right thing to do, because it doesn't look like a sticker when it's like that. So let me unblur it, kind of pull it back a bit, maybe blur a little. No. Maybe I'll just turn off the drop shadow. Or just get rid of the sticker format again and go back to Logoville. Mutual. 60. Oh, they're all at 59. 60. Mutual. We're hiring. What if I make this black? That looks awesome. What if I make this? This is looking okay, actually. Okay, now to go back, I'm going to grab one of these lines. How about a scribbled line like this one? I'll pull that underneath we're hiring. Right now I'm trying to balance 3 different scaled objects. So I'm looking at the logo as object 1, it's a visual element. Looking at the QR code, and then I'm looking at this kind of block of text in the middle. I'm trying to balance them all nicely. This bottom part here, I can probably ramp that up quite a bit to be more pink. I think I have a pink one. Yeah, that one. Let's replace this one with that one. Replace. That's looking good, actually. That really helps sell this thing. Okay, this is looking great, especially down when I look at my phone. Like the scale of it, it's like sweet. Oh, go away. Does cutting that help? Because we have this space right here because the logo, and you have some space on the side. So I'm trying to figure out if knocking it down this way is going to be good. But what that ends up doing is, it's not working, is now we have a visual line going down slope, and then another one with this pink that's kind of going up slope, and it's kind of creating a point off here on the side. And that's kind of where your eye gets drawn, so it just kind of looks a little odd when you're holding it. So having it like this to where they're kind of parallel to each other, where this darker blue and then the lighter blue underneath it are kind of paralleling the bottom part, you kind of, that usually just is a little bit easier. That doesn't completely take the person who's looking at it and take their attention away off the side or feel off balance, because they can actually sit it. Now when I'm looking at this here, this is now too close to this side, so I'm going to move it down, give it some space. What I'm looking at here is I'm trying to match the space from here on the left to the space above it. And like not always here, because you can kind of mess with that a little bit, but that feels pretty good actually right there. So I'm going to move this and this down. Mutual, we're hiring. This is not on the artboard. Interesting. There we go. This might be a good spot for some color. Man, that red color is intense. I don't know if this blue color is helping much. Maybe I'll mark it down a bit. Come plan the coolest dating events in Provo. 16, is that really kind of what I'm feeling? Move it down to like 30. Again, I'm just looking at this, trying to visually scale it down and see. When I'm looking at it on my phone, just as a smaller one, I can see that the scale of this needs to move up a bit just to better pace it. What I'm trying to do here, just to try and explain it, is I'm looking at the visual space this is taking up at the top, which is about that much from the top. And I'm looking at it and compared to the bottom, and I'm trying to make it about, see if I look at this, like the pink kind of goes behind here. I'm trying to make it 1/3. So like this ends up being 1/3 of this visually, and then this middle part is kind of the bigger chunk in the middle. So let's see how that's looking. This is looking pretty sharp now, but what it is still lacking is some of the more hand-drawn elements that we've been putting into marketing a lot more. So I'm going to go back to here and grab a couple of these sparkles and lines. I've been putting those in stuff. Let's see how we can do that here. Some of these are a bit big, so I'm going to scale them down and kind of just put them around for now. I'm only going to limit myself to 3 of them. We're hiring. Okay, I need to grab this again so I can see it. And then they're a little big. Oops. Okay. And I'm using these to help throw in a little bit of extra balance. So something like this, I might change this one and flip it to white. Because it's like apply now, and I want the little sparkles. Oops. I want the little sparkles next to it. Do that. Yeah. Move that out. So apply now, I'm trying to give it its own space so that it's kind of equally spaced on the side and kind of fills this spot, because this is pretty much a bigger thing here. And pull this back in and line stuff up. Yeah, those are all lined. So I'm going to line this piece here to do that too. It kind of overcuts it because this is smaller. It's kind of a visual alignment. I'll do that. And I'll make this an update just a bit. Apply now. Can I rotate? No, I can't. Okay. Maybe there's a better arrow I can use. stretched. And it's not pointing like down. I want it to point straight at something. Yeah, whatever. I'll do this later. I'm gonna grab one of these though. I now a bit more. Awesome. I think this is looking pretty good. Let's look at one of these. Does something like that make sense? We're hiring. What if I make it very invisible? Almost like a light. Okay, and I need to go at the bottom. Here, okay. Oh, not that far at the bottom. And behind the white. Okay. What is this going under? Oh, that's what it's doing. It's not on the artboard. There we go. Now it's the back. We're hiring. I'm gonna shrink this a bit more. This is mostly just trying to continue to draw some little bit of attention to that. It's a little light, so I might add in just a tad of pink. So what this is doing is it's adding in brand elements. The design was already solid, and now what I'm trying to do is add in some pieces that help it feel like the rest of the mutual brand. These little pieces, the little sparkles, stuff like that, they all kind of help give it a little bit of cohesion with the rest of the brand. Especially these like little hand-drawn elements that get pulled in. This is indented. Actually, that feels fine. Let's make you darker. So because now we have this red element here, these feel a little crowded. So I'm going to move this down and move the logo up a bit. Keep that more or less right there. We're hiring, and I'll throw this on back here. And there's one more that's missing. I usually put in one of these crosshairs, one check, and one of these, and then a couple of those. So 1, 2, and then on the white part here, I'll put another one that's just right there. We'll see how this looks. Doesn't look good. Not there. It looks like we're missing a bullet point because something should be there because of the alignment or the location of it. So I'll add this somewhere else. This one in particular is a little strange because it is looking a lot like something that should be there. Like you accidentally left in an alignment mark or something. So the plus might not be the best one for that. Whoops. I'm also going to grab all this stuff and move it up slightly, including that and not that. Okay, and maybe in. We're hiring. That's looking good. And mutuals go up. Move that alignment. Okay, I'm thinking this is looking pretty good. What are we missing? I'm going to double check spelling too. Event marketing intern, come plan the coolest dating events in Provo. 20/hours, 10 to 20 hours a month, and hybrid. We're hiring. Does mutual need to be like that? Yes, it does actually. Yeah, the alignment's good. I'm really just double checking it on my phone, looking at it because it's small and seeing how is this fitting as far as scale goes. Is it feeling nice? Is it feeling too low centered or high centered? And again, I'm trying to make the blue approximately half the size of the pink that's at the bottom. So I think that feels about right. So this is kind of where I'm at. What I could do here is I see that this is in a Polaroid or a photo. I'm probably not going to do that. I will get a new asset here and I'll probably knock this outline down a bit and make this fit a little better. I think possibly making it sideways like that. Actually, everything else is vertically aligned and not sideways, so I'll keep this as it is and make it just a tad bigger. Now at this point I'm looking at the scale from here to the edge and kind of making it either you make it match or you make it obviously that I didn't match it. So with something like this, I'll look at this. This is 66 from the edge, and on the other side I'll pull it in. If I pull it in, 66 also. That looks pretty far, especially when I look at the alignment of this end piece right here. So I'll probably pull it back so that these are mostly aligned. I'll pull it over just a bit. You can't see it, but it's kind of, I'm wanting to visually align this part right here. So I'll do that. And then probably readjust a couple of these to make them fit a bit better. Keeping this over on the side still. Apply now. That's still looking good though. Move this and give it a little bit more symmetrical spacing. And that thing I hate about this arrow is that it is pointing down. It's not pointing up. So I might just yoink that for a minute. Oh, that's messed up. Ungroup. There we go. Now it might be easier to adjust the arrow first. So the arrow is pointing right. Now I'm just going to adjust this part. Sweet. Get this going a bit. What are you doing over there? I'm not liking the end of this. I'm gonna hit minus, actually no, not minus this. Now I'm gonna remove a couple of these, not that one. I'll remove that one and that one. The fewer lines you have in these, the easier it is to kind of manage them, especially if they're out in the middle. So I'm gonna move this one kind of up to the middle and cut down these lines. The lines will be a lot more smoother if you have fewer points. If you have more points, it'll kind of start to mess with the smoothness. Okay, I'm trying to grab you. Can you stop? There. Yeah, this is frustrating. Okay, grab this, and I want that handle. Got it. Okay. So I don't like how sharp that is. Let's get that unsharpened. We do that. All this right now is more design polishing, so it is taking me a little bit longer, but it's what I feel is important to get it to look polished. Does that look like somebody drew it? A little bit. Rotate it a bit more. I like that. Now this is kind of, the end of this is coming more or less out of here. Maybe it could be a little bit less. All right, I'll be up in a minute. And that's looking better. Maybe point this a bit more. Yeah. You see how it's like not straight because there's a bunch of them? This is where I'm going to grab this again and pull a couple of these out. Like that. Take this one and actually put it on the nose and bend it. There we go. Probably take these around a little bit too. No. Nope. Anyway, spend a lot of time on that little arrow. These are the same color. Text primary, primary, primary. Nope. Let me just double check on everything. I like that one here. I don't like that one, but we kind of have some of these down here, so that should probably help with that a bit. What if I throw one up here? Okay, let me check this on my phone. Yeah, it doesn't work up there. A little too off. This is still a little rough as far as brightness goes, so I'll knock it down in opacity a little bit. Now this just says we're hiring. Event marketing intern. Alright, what's this spacing? good. Swap that to white instead and make it bigger and not rounded. Maybe barely rounded. I like that better. I'll put a new one in as soon as I get one. Alright, well, I think that's it. I'm going to turn this off now and we can look at this later for some feedback. So